Hello, BIOL1001. Welcome to the semester. I'm your instructor, Dr. Charlie Willis, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of the course website in this video. So, you've seen the course website banner and homepage. As you've already completed the orientation quiz, you've already had a chance to look at the syllabus, the course schedule, and the course guide. And so, I'm going to walk you through the first week as kind of an example week of what to expect from here on out. Of course, assignments might change from week to week, especially with regards to laboratory assignments. But for the most part, this is how a week is going to look, okay? But before we do that, let me just cue you in on two key venues for you to communicate with me and your peers. The first one is the News and Announcements Forum. That's where I tell you about updates with regards to the course. I might give you reminders about upcoming exams. I might give you updates on changes to due dates for assignments. Wherever I need to communicate with the entire class, that's where I'm going to put that information. So definitely check that on a regular basis. The course Q&A, that's where you get a chance to ask me and your peers general questions about the course material, about the course content, about issues you might be having with the course, anything that generally relates to the course that you think also might be of interest to other students, post the question there. I check that daily. I respond relatively quickly to any questions that I find there. So anything that you need to know about the course, put it there, and I will be sure to respond. And if you have a response to a question that's put there, either you have a solution to a problem a student has had, or you have an answer to a question related to the material, feel free to respond. It's an open forum for us to have a discussion about this class. And of course, if you have a personal question or something related specifically to your specific assignment or your grade, you can always email me directly, and we can communicate that way, or we can set up a Google Hangout, or you can come by my office. I'm generally open. I make myself available to you pretty regularly because this is an online course. We don't interact very much in person, so I try to make myself available relatively regularly given that aspect of the course. So, major venues of communication, take advantage of them. And so for a typical week, let's look at Unit 1.1. So the course is broken into 5 major units, and then each unit has a subunit, and each subunit represents a week of material. Unit 1.1 is the first subunit of Unit 1, and in this unit, it's a little bit different than a typical week because it's the first one. We're going to be talking about the definition of life. So biology is the study of life. Well, then what is life itself? How do we define it? What chemical compositions do we use to define life? What processes necessitate life? What are those definitions? And it's not as straightforward as you would think. And so that's kind of why we do this exercise, to get you thinking about kind of biological definitions and processes. You'll have a discussion about this question with your group, and that will be your first assignment. For this week, because it is the first week, there's a few additional assignments that you'll have to do that aren't necessarily part of every week. For instance, you'll be setting up a lot of group communications at this point. You're going to do an introduction on Flipgrid so that we get a chance to put a face to a name. You'll be doing some setup in terms of your group, how your group communicates. So definitely check out these ways of communicating online. It's crucial that your group sets up good, regular communication because your group success will dictate your personal success in this course. So make an effort to reach out and work with your group to set up times when you're going to do work, when you're going to exchange work, when you're going to submit work. And then specifically, you'll want to set up a folder that you're going to use on Google Docs to share work. And you're going to define your norms. So you're going to use this forum to discuss and come to a consensus about what group norms you're going to use to dictate group behavior for this semester. Group norms are basically rules of engagement, how to be a good person in a group and be a functional group member. They're pretty straightforward. Have a look at this group norms forum, get in touch with your group, start discussing what norms you think will be useful for your group to function. Every group's going to have slightly different norms, that's fine. And then you're going to submit those norms under this assignment submission point, okay? Now, for most weeks, actually, let's jump ahead to Unit 1.2, because this is more standard in terms of what material you'll see from week to week. So, for most weeks, you'll have a Learn section. This is where you get to, you see the material we want you to learn for that week. And so for week 1.2, you're going to be introduced to the process of science. So you're going to start off with a weekly study guide, introducing you to the kind of outlines of concepts and terms we want you to focus on with regards to what science is. Then you have a reading assignment. That means you have a chapter in the book that you're going to read, and then you're going to take a quiz. So read the chapter, come online, and take this quiz. That's the first major thing you're going to do every week. The second major thing you're going to do is answer your essential questions with your group. So this is a group assignment. Your group is responsible for submitting one document with answers to the essential questions. There's usually about 2 to 4 essential questions a week. These are more in-depth questions that take the terms and concepts you learn from the book and then apply them to specific examples, or ask you to interpret specific data to get at sort of a more deeper understanding of those terms and concepts. So we're getting away from just the definitional understanding of those terms and concepts, and then we're applying them in the essential questions. And then finally, every week has a laboratory section, and the assignments due for that lab are going to change from week to week. So you'll want to check what is outlined in the laboratory section at the beginning of the week, so you have an understanding or an idea of what kind of time is going to be required to complete that assignment. You don't want to end up checking it at the end of the week on the Tuesday before everything is due, and then having no time to actually complete the experiment you're supposed to do that week. So definitely come and check the lab section at the beginning of the week so you get a sense of what's due. Because a lot of these lab activities are group activities, you want to be careful. You will definitely want to do that and get in touch with your group about kind of what aspects of the lab you're going to be doing, so you can coordinate that with your group. And then finally, at the end of every week, you have a what did you learn this week activity. That's just a chance for you to share what you found interesting, what you found confusing, and what you want more help with. And I will check these every week, and I typically try to respond to as many as possible to help clarify points of confusion. So responding to that, filling out this form is graded, so definitely do it. And it's also a useful way for me to help you kind of clarify points of confusion you've had that week with that material. And then finally, at the end of every unit, so all 5 of these, you're going to do a self and peer evaluation. That's where you kind of assess how well you and your peers did in terms of communicating and working together as a group. So this is really a chance for you guys to kind of build your group communication and find issues that you might need help resolving. I also check these, and so if there is a problem with your group communicating, I'm also more than happy to help and kind of facilitate group working behavior, okay? So, learn, apply, laboratory. Those are the 3 major parts of every week, and then you have a summary, kind of what did you learn this week, review section. That's how every week's going to go for the most part. Always check what's due at the beginning of the week so that you give yourself time throughout the week to complete it. This course is mainly about time management, right? So definitely take the time and effort at the beginning of the week to kind of schedule out how you're going to do these activities throughout the week so you're not rushing on a Tuesday night to finish all of the activities that are due. This is obviously not good for you, but it's also not good for your group mates, and it generally leads to not doing so well in the course. So that's how a course looks. This is the course website. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I will see you later in the course.